Hello there. Today I want to talk about the HearthStone Esports 2018 system and the changes and what I feel about them. I will try to analyze them and let's just get into it. So the first thing that is in the announcement is the HearthStone Master system, which is a very interesting reward system for people that try to be the best in the world. I think it's a mistake that they put it the first thing in the announcement and not the last one. I think it would have looked way better if it was, for example, just said after all the changes that they showed, they could say, oh, and also if you go for #1 in points or if you're a very dedicated player, these are some extra rewards you can get. But the way they put it at the start of the announcement is kind of like the center of it. But I don't think more than 10 people all around the world are going to be able to reach the point target of 200 points. Maybe there will be more like 150 point players, but it's still very hard to make. And I don't think you can get gold if you're not a full-time Hearthstone player. You have to dedicate your year, your life, to playing the game professionally, I think, to be able to get 200 points. But you can also be, for example, in school or have a secondary job and still get to prelims, still get to World Championship by just playing ladder. But for this, you need to travel a lot for tournaments. You need to be really dedicated on both ladder and tournaments. And it's not for everybody. But the way it's put here at the beginning of the announcement, it looks like it can be for everybody. So that's, I think, a misunderstanding. If you look at it, it's a really nice reward system. It gives you basically commemorative swag for every rank, and every rank also allows you to play a monthly tournament with cash prizes, which is even better if it starts, for example, after 2 seasons, which is like 6 months, 7 months to be more precise. After 2 seasons, maybe people that would get gold in 3 seasons will be already bronze after 2 seasons. So if they already start by doing some cups for those people, I think that's a nice incentive. Other than that, silver gives you some extra money, and gold gives you quite a bit of money. If you get gold and you have teammates that get gold or silver, then you will also be, I think, around, let's say, top 5 teams. And if you are top 5 teams, then you get 2,000 per player extra. So that's roughly 2.5 thousand extra per month if you are a gold player that has teammates that are gold players, which is a very good incentive to be a professional player. Because if you already earn a salary from playing into a team, and if the team already sends you to events and you play these events anyways, and you already stream the ladder or play it off stream, no matter how you do it, if you already do those things, just getting some extra cash is never bad. So it's a really good thing that Blizzard is making. But the way they show it makes people that maybe don't dedicate their life to Hearthstone think that they have a chance to go for it, and then they just feel bad because they cannot, because you need to dedicate yourself to be able to go for this. For players like me, this is fantastic change, and I'll go for #1 in points anyways. So if I fail on #1 in points, or if I get #1 in points, I'll still probably get the gold ranking. That will be my objective. I mean, my main objective is #1 in points, but I'll try to get gold if not #1 in points. So Hearthstone Championship Tour is very similar to last year. One player from each playoff makes it to World. Sorry, wait. Now you can make it to the championship. 4 players per each playoff. Probably is going to be the same. And then it's going to be like a 16 player, and then 4 make it to World. I think it's the same system as last year. And point leaders are going to directly go to Worlds. It's pretty cleanly explained here, and even more in depth in the PDF announcement. The point target, I kind of like that they made it, because a lot of people missed by 1 point and they were very upset about it, and all the monthly work they put was kind of in vain. They could have gotten more points to be safe, like I did, for example, but you cannot blame them that much. I like this. It's definitely not going to be 45. They said that if they don't get 64 players that reach the point requirement, they will take up until 64 players. So I think the requirement is going to be less. To get 45 points, if you don't go to any majors, you need to basically finish top 25 on ladder 3 times. If you finish top 25 on ladder 3 times, you'll be top 25, not top 64. So if you finish 3 times top 50, that's already enough. If you finish 2 times top 50 and 1 time top 100, that's also probably already enough. maybe even one top 50, two top 100s are going to be enough. You can make playoff prelims, however you call it, by just playing ladder. That's a really good thing. You are not forced to play LANs in order to get points. Obviously, if you play LANs, it makes it easier, but then it also shows that you're more dedicated, so you get extra rewarded. I like that a lot, but I'll get into that a little bit later. I like the Challengers program. I like basically removing Open Cups and just making merging Open Cups with Tavern Heroes and having some qualifier spots for the players that want to break into the scene but don't know exactly how. Now it's going to be quite easy. You play Open Cups or you play your Fireside thing, and then you play another qualifier probably afterwards. I think it's going to be something like winners of Open Cups and winners of Fireside Gatherings are going to have some tournament, and top 8 of that tournament goes to the playoff. And I think that's a really good way of doing it, to incentivize new blood to try and not be full-time while they try. Like, you can legit pretty easily go to playoff if you're a really good player by not being full-time. But if you are full-time, you have extra rewards here. So that's very nice. I like it a lot. Let's look at the point distribution and changes. You barely get any more points for finishing number 1, so it's not going to be worth it to go for number 1. What you are going to aim for is, if you want to go for number 1 in points, you should try to finish top 25 every single month in the first season and 3 out of 4 months in seasons 2 and 3, which is not that hard. Like, top 25 is doable. It's definitely doable. The fact that they remove top 10 makes it way easier. In the past, to compete with other people that go for number 1 in points, you had to finish kind of top 10 almost every month. And that's why you had people like Zale getting a huge amounts of points by just getting top 10 every single month. Realistically, even top 15 some of the months is not that bad. You only get 3 points less. Definitely, if you're not going for number 1 in points, you're not going to need top 25, top 50, maybe even some top 100s are going to be enough points to make you qualify for playoff, which again, really nice. But if you go for number 1 in points, you need to finish top 25 every month that matters. Again, 3 months out of 4 in the seasons that have 4 months. That's also nice because it allows you to play more tour stops. Tour stops are going to be the centerpiece of this. So because there's no more Open Cups, ladder matters less, majors, also known as tour stops now, matter way more. That can be a great thing or it can be a bad thing. It all depends on how Blizzard does those tour stops. Like, if they have these tour stops be 200, 300 player tournaments with like single elimination, I really hope not, by the way, or even a Swiss with like 7 rounds, I don't think is enough, and then just play best of 5 conquest, I think that would be bad, because you have to travel to those tournaments, you have to invest, or your team has to invest into sending you there, and if you barely get any screen time, if you don't get showed and promoted accordingly, it will not be worth it for teams to send players to those events. And even if you're the best player in the world, if you play an event with 300 people in a shitty format, it's going to be hard to prove yourself. So I really hope these tour stops are perfectly made. We are going to have a shitstorm if the tour stops are not perfectly made, because the system relies so much on tour stops. You cannot go for any of the competitive tiers if you don't do well in tour stops. So basically, you can finish top 25 in 9 months out of the 11 competitive months that the season is going to have. 9 multiplied by 15 is 135, and that's not even bronze. So the rest of the points to get bronze, silver, gold, you have to play tour stops. So and playoffs. Like, if you get top 25 every month, you're gonna play 3 playoffs. But if you bomb out of every playoff, which means not even making top 32 out of 64, then you're gonna get 0 points. But if you make top 32, let's add an extra 18 points, I guess. Maybe it's only like 2 playoffs this year, I think, so only 12 points. And then maybe you make bronze only with that. But you will have to play some tour stops if you want to go for the tiers, or if you want to go for number 1 in points. And I'm saying that if the tour stops have a bad format, then you're gonna have very random results at those tour stops, and the best players in the world might not be able to win a tour stop or place top 8 or top 16 that consistently. And they need to just travel to all of them, and it's gonna be like, they need to be well organized. Like, I personally would I'll try to go to all the tour stops in Europe, and I'll try to go to some other tour stops outside Europe too. depending on how many tour stops my team wants to send me, and we'll see. But I really hope Blizzard makes it tempting for teams to send players to tour stops, and for players to just maybe even go by themselves, paying for their own tournament. Like, I wouldn't mind paying for a tournament to play if the tournament is well organized and with a good format. Like, I don't know, 12 rounds of Swiss, 200 players. That's a good tournament. Cut to top 8 maybe. But if you cut to top 8, then how do you reward points at the top 22? I guess you just look at the Swiss and reward from that. But I don't know, I want like a consistent chance to win not only points but also money. Because if the tournaments are going to have like 10k total prize pool, like look at DreamHacks now. DreamHacks used to be very juicy for competitors. They were like played by all the pros, had great prize pools. Now they barely have, like, if you make top 8 in a 250 player tournament, you barely get your money back. And obviously if you add some points to that, you still need to translate the points into money later on, which will take around a year. So they need to make tour stops really nice and juicy for the players to want to go there, for the teams to want to send their players there. I think that is going to be the thing that Blizzard needs to do the most with the tour. Other than that, ladder rewarding points the way it does, I think it's perfect. Seasonal Championship and Playoffs rewarding points the way they do, I think it's perfect. World Championship giving players a head start, I think it's fine. It's a well-balanced head start. They don't get like an obscene amount of points. They get like 100 points for winning or something like that. They get a reasonable amount, which is deserved. 20 points if you become World Champion. Sure, I don't mind the World Champion having a small advantage because he's the World Champion after all. And then there's the team rewards. Team rewards kind of make it that players will want to have teams. What I don't see yet is why would teams want to have players more than they do right now? And right now, teams are not really battling for players. There's plenty of great free agents out there. And I think it's maybe even going to become harder for free agents to find teams because the teams have to spend money to send these free agents to tournaments without any return instantly. What Blizzard could do is also reward teams more, and I think they have to do that if they want the system to succeed. I think they have to advertise the teams way better. Like, not only showing their logos while the players are playing, but just having maybe even the logos in game somehow. Maybe having some carbacks. I don't know exactly how they can reward the teams. Maybe they should talk with the team managers and get some ideas. I'm pretty sure Lothar, my manager, can have plenty of ideas for how teams can get more rewarded. But the current system will want players to get teams, but I don't see why teams would want to have players more than now. Maybe if you look at it from a cynical point of view, there's more incentive for teams to try to screw players over. Like, because players need to have an organization behind them to get and be eligible for this extra money, teams might underpay the players and maybe even not offer them transport to all the tournaments that they require to play in order to let them earn money by being good ranked. Let's hope this doesn't happen. I think the players need to be very unexperienced to take on bad contracts, but I don't know. I really hope Blizzard just gives a lot of incentives also to teams to have players. That's gonna be like very helpful, because the ideal situation is like tour stops are fantastic to go to for both players and juicy for the teams to send competitive players and to sign competitive players, and then the players also play ladder. They maybe stream a bit of it because it's not that hard to finish top 25 anyways. They go to events, they represent their team well, and their team gets some reward also for having those players. But since the players keep the money here and not the teams, again, is I think more beneficial for the players. And ideally you want a system where everybody wins. So I'm really curious how Blizzard is going to help that happen. And again, I don't know if having the team logo while the player is playing is enough. It's just basically like a bit more discussion maybe about the point system. I think these rewards are insanely good if you already want to do it, but if you're not willing to dedicate some years of your life to playing Hearthstone, then it's probably not worth going for it. Personally, I'll try to go for it. Again, I'll try to play as many tournaments as I can. I'll try to finish as high on ladder as I can. And I think these changes are good for everybody. They just increase the prize pool of prelims also. If you just play prelims, the worst you can get, if you get like last place 0-2 or 0-3 drop, you still get $1,000. This might be a good enough money just for maybe dedicating 3 or 4 months to try to reach playoff, maybe even just from home if you cannot afford to go to LANs. But maybe you can go to like one LAN that is like in a country, or maybe even in your country, but maybe it's like in your country, in your region, very close to you, and you can get some good deals on hotels in advance, and you go to like one tournament and you do decently there, and then you get top 50 or top 25 on ladder, you qualify, and you don't need to dedicate your whole year. So Blizzard basically made with this system a lot of options for everybody. If you want to dedicate yourself to Hearthstone, you get some specific rewards. If you want to just casually play and maybe try, you have the Challenger Cups. If you want to just play from home, you can just qualify by playing ladder. This is also good for people that are streamers. Like, if you are a full-time streamer, I don't think it's going to be that hard to finish top 25 legend. And you make playoff just by finishing top 25 or top 50. I think it's way easier than it was in the past, because there's no more open cups. In the past, a lot of streamers didn't make it because they didn't want to invest a lot of time into playing opens. But now they don't need to play opens anymore. That makes it way easier just from laddering, because people stream ladder anyways. Personally, my plan for next year, I'll try to stream quite a bit. Like, when I'm not at LANs, I will even try to stream almost every single day. And the LANs will kind of be like a break from streaming. I might even stream from some LANs, who knows. I'll try to hit top 25. I'll be playing 2 servers every single month. In January, I'll play Americas plus Asia. I'll probably play Europe plus Asia, starting with February. Again, my objective is top 25 every single month. I will try to play every single tournament that is in Europe, and I'll try to play some tournaments outside of Europe too, the ones that is worth going to. And I'll try to obviously reach #1 in points. If I fail at #1 in points, at least I will try to get enough to be 3-star gold, but that depends on how many tournaments I play and how well I do in them. Basically, I'll just dedicate myself to Hearthstone. I'm already dedicated to Hearthstone, but now at least I have some extra incentive and some extra goals. And it's really good to have consistent tournaments, because it felt really bad to have like a month with no tournaments. You really have to make some goals from scratch. So Blizzard offering this calendar of tournaments is like really good change. So overall, I'm super happy with the changes. The only thing I really don't know what to expect from is tour styles, because we never had this many tournaments, and they need to be on point organized, because they matter so much for the current system. And also about the teams, like, I just want teams to get an incentive to hire players and to have players on their roster, as Blizzard seems to also want. So let's see what they do about that, other than what they announced. That's pretty much it. Really looking forward to the next year, guys. And if you have any questions, just ask me. I'm trying to stream every single day, so you can go to my Twitch channel and watch me live at RDU Live. Haha. And I'll be definitely playing a lot of tournaments, so make sure you can watch. You can make sure you can watch me there. You can watch me there. Thank you very much. See ya, guys.